Listen, you need to stop wasting your gifts. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care what's going on in your life. God gave you something. He gave you a gift. He gave you a talent. He gave you an ability. But you wasted it. You're trading that gift for acceptance, right? You would prefer validation and acceptance from the world than to use the gift that God gave you. And if you don't use it, He's going to take it from you. Stop wasting your gifts. That's why you're not happy. That's why you're not content. That's why no matter what things happen, even if they're good, it's not fulfilling. Because it's not aligned with your purpose. It's not aligned with your gifts, with your talents. And so there's no fulfillment there. I don't care who you are. As human beings, all of our DNA is 99.999% the same. I don't care who you are as a human. Our DNA is constructed, it is similar. 99.9999%. But that 1.00001 percentage that differentiates us, that small difference is what gives you everything that you have, right? The way you look, the way you think, the way you talk, the way you stand, your body structure, your chemistry, the way you react to things is all in that very minuscule percentage. That's where your talent lies. But because that percentage is so small and unique, it takes time to find out what it is. And most people go their life not really knowing their purpose, not really knowing all of the gifts, not really exploring, because it takes time to find out what that is. But if you do not spend your time trying to find out what that purpose is, trying to find out what that difference is, trying to discover your talents, your abilities, your gifts, if you don't spend the time trying to find it, you're going to live your life unfulfilled. And so my advice is to stop wasting your talents. It's not enough just to be given a talent or ability to do something, right? All of us have that. That's nothing but potential, right? It's not enough to be 7 feet tall. You actually have to work on your game to continue to advance. It's not enough to just be able to have a great singing voice. You have to be able to train your voice in a way to hit different levels and different notes and different octaves, right? For you to be able to advance as a singer. It's not enough just to have a talent or a gift. You have to be able to cultivate it. It's nothing but potential. Potential is nothing but a seed. I tell my children this all the time. Potential is nothing but a seed. A seed has the potential to become a fully fruitful and productive tree. Or it can just wither away and die, depending on how you use it. And so if all you have is that seed, is that initial talent, that ability, that gift, that idea, that inclination, if you do nothing with it, it's going to wither away and die. It's going to be something that used to be potential. But if you nurture it, if you cultivate it, if you work at it, if you care for it, then you develop that seed. And that seed starts to plant roots in the ground, and it starts to take form, and it starts to take shape. And it firmly plants itself, it positions itself in a way that it can start to grow on its own. But you still got to put the work in. You still got to put the time in. You still have to put the effort in. And then eventually, you got to water that seed every day. You got to nurture it. You got to cultivate it. You got to take care of it. And then one day, that seed breaks ground. And it gets a glimpse of the sunlight. And now, you have assistance, right? Now, it's not just you watering and cultivating. Now you have assistance from the sun. You have natural assistance from the earth. But you still got to work. You still got to nurture it. You still got to water it. You still got to cultivate the soil. You still got to take care of it. And the sun is helping it to grow as well. And all this time that seed is growing into a tree, the weeks and the months that it takes to start to take form and to grow out of the ground, you know what? The seed still really doesn't know that it can produce fruit. It still hasn't seen the results of fruit yet. All it knows is that it's getting the energy that it needs to grow. And it's growing in a positive direction. It's getting the sunlight. It's getting the nurturing, the care, the watering, the cultivation. And it's growing upwards. That's all it knows. It don't even know it can produce fruit yet. It just knows I was a seed and now I'm growing into a tree. I'm becoming something that I never realized I could become. I'm growing bigger than I ever imagined because you are taking care of it. And then one day it starts to spread out and grow branches. And one day it produces fruit. And now you understand what all of that hard work was for. Because once the tree starts to be a productively producing fruit, now the tree can feed you. Right? You've put all the work in, and now the tree can feed you. But not only can it feed you once, right? Now it can replenish itself. Now it can feed you and your family for generations, right? But that same concept applies with our talents, our abilities, and our gifts. You have to put the work in on the front end. You have to develop yourself. You have to build yourself. It is not enough to just be talented. You have to put the work in. I don't care what the talent is. I don't care what the idea is, what the career path. You have to put the time in. You have to put in the 10,000 hours. The things that it takes to make you an expert, to specialize. That's you cultivating that seed. That's you developing yourself. That is you cultivating and nurturing and growing your talent, your ability, your gift, building it into something. Right? And for weeks, for months, for years, you will not see any fruit. You will see the growth, you will see the development, but you're not going to immediately see the fruit. It takes time, right? It takes time. That's what life is about. It's about growth and development. I didn't know my full purpose until I was well into my 30s. I had ideas about it. Right? I was understanding, I was seeing growth in certain directions. I was leaning towards it, right? Just like that tree that starts to grow in a certain direction, right? It's leaning towards something, but it still does not know what it can produce. But you have to cultivate it. Otherwise, you are wasting your talents. You're wasting your gifts. You have to put the time and the work and the effort in. That's the only path to wealth. There is no easy path. There's an easy path to riches. But anything that comes fast can leave just as fast. And it's unfulfilling. Microwave food doesn't taste like a home-cooked meal. You get it faster, but it don't taste the same. That's the same way fast riches are. You can look at any of these entertainers or celebrities, right, that have come into fast riches. And most times, it also comes with pain and despair. They're not happy. They're not fulfilled. Even though they have everything that money can buy. Because they are rich, but they are not wealthy. It takes time to develop, to grow. That's what you're doing. But if you're not doing that, then you're wasting it. You're wasting what you have. See that whole process? Yeah, it's tough. The work is hard. It's tough. But it's fulfilling because you're moving towards a certain direction. When I look back at my career and the things that I've accomplished, it was some days where I second guessed every decision I made. I didn't know that I was that I was making the right decisions, that I was on the right path. Or I questioned everything. It was difficult. But I knew when I tried other things, I did not get the same fulfillment in the growth and development. And so even if I was failing, I was getting fulfillment from that failure. And I refused to quit. I just kept moving towards the failure. I kept falling towards the failure because it was making me grow. It was making me develop as a man. It was making me develop as a professional. I was falling toward the failure, which is equivalent to me nurturing and cultivating the seed for it to grow. Growth takes tension. It requires friction. You cannot grow without any kind of friction or tension. But it was days where I questioned everything I was doing. I questioned whether or not I was good enough to do what I did, that I was smart enough. I had all of those doubts. But every time I failed, something pulled me into to gravitate me towards that failure, to figure out how I could prevent that the next time. But I was walking in my purpose. And unfortunately, a lot of times, we're not walking in our purpose. We're living a life based on acceptance and validation from others. We're following paths that other people have given us. And at the same time, we are wasting our gifts. That's why you're not happy. That's why you're unfulfilled. That's why you look for the dopamine rushes from social media, because you're not living in your purpose. Stop wasting your gifts. Because they have other people behind you with the same gifts, the same ideas, but they have the willingness to execute. So if you have a gift, if you have a talent, you have an ability, you have an idea, you have an inclination, explore that. Fail towards it. Take every opportunity available to you. Embrace the problems that come with the development. That's how you know you're growing. When you start to have a new set of problems, things that are coming up that you can't figure out, that's how you know you're developing. Because now you're in a territory you've never been before. So now you have problems that you have to fix and solve that you never had to worry about. That's a sign of development. When I start to get new problems in my business, new things that I've never seen before, new questions, right? That's how I know I'm going up a stratosphere. Because now I'm dealing with things that I'm not even experienced with yet. So embrace that. Embrace those problems. Embrace those issues and move towards your purpose. Fail towards your purpose. And you'll find fulfillment